Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. It is right now. You are right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 24 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. So, today is unexpected for me, so it's got to be unexpected for you. Let's talk about Rosie O'Donnell and to a lesser extent, Ellen DeGeneres. You might recall that a year ago, we were told very loudly that they were leaving the United States, not vacationing, not experimenting with a second home, leaving, escaping, getting away from the impending fascism. Well, good old Rosie, she moved to Ireland. Ellen relocated to the UK. They weren't particularly subtle or ambiguous. They had a very clear message. America was suddenly unsafe. Democracy was collapsing. Fascism was at the gates. The implication was extremely clear as far as they were concerned. Now that Trump had returned to the White House, members of the LGBT community were now in mortal danger. All right, let's fast forward to today, 2026. Rosie recently quietly returned to the United States for a visit, and she said that this was to test the waters to see if it's safe for her and her daughter. Testing the waters. Safe from what exactly? Where are the concentration camps? Where are the disappearances? Where are the government-sanctioned roundups of homosexuals and lesbians? There are none. They don't exist. Meanwhile, Ellen DeGeneres, who relocated to England, has now purchased a $27 million property in Montecito. According to her, she's not moving back. She's just going to split her time between the UK and California. Huh. Interesting. Apparently, the tyrannical dystopia isn't tyrannical or dystopian enough to stay away permanently. This is all so ridiculous. Just absurd. And let's not be ridiculous with them. Let's be serious here, okay? These are members of the 1%. They live in gated communities in one of the bluest states in the country, and yet they wanted you to believe they were no longer safe here. Their very lives were in danger. And the facts simply do not support that narrative. Consider, the first openly gay cabinet-level official in American history was not Pete Buttigieg. It was Richard Grenell, and this was under President Donald Trump. First, he was ambassador to Germany and then director of national intelligence. Now, in the second Trump administration, the secretary of the Treasury is Scott Bessent, an openly gay man married to another man, highly visible, arguably the face of the administration when it comes to economic policy. It doesn't get more senior in the MAGA movement than that. These are not fringe roles. These are top-tier positions in the federal government. So this idea that America is descending into some anti-LGBT authoritarian nightmare simply does not square with reality. But let me tell you what really concerns me about all this. It's not just an annoyance at what is clear hypocrisy from these hysterical one-percenters. All this theatrical exile, all this dramatic fleeing, it may keep these celebrities in good standing with their fellow hysterics. It may earn applause in their circles, but it actually does real damage. Because when you convince millions of people that they're in mortal danger, when you tell them fascism is here, when you tell them oppression is imminent, you activate something very dangerous in the human psyche. If people truly believe they're under existential threat, they don't behave rationally. They escalate. They justify extreme reactions. And we've seen what happens when political hysteria spills into the streets. We've seen people assaulted for wearing a MAGA hat. We've seen mobs surround individuals simply for expressing the wrong political allegiance. We've seen political violence from people who are convinced they're fighting some great moral emergency. When you constantly tell people that they're living under fascism, don't be surprised when some of them start behaving like they're in a war. You make it a viral meme that it's not only okay to punch a quote unquote Nazi, but it's our duty to do just that. And then they declare that half the country are Nazis simply for being an inch to the right of Barack Obama. What do you think happens then? This is not healthy for the country. This is not leadership. This is not responsible rhetoric. And remember, they're always saying that their opponents need to turn down the rhetoric. Apparently, they don't have to. So, were these celebrities that escaped, were they sincere? Did they genuinely believe that the MAGA apocalypse was coming? If they were sincere, that reflects an astonishing failure of judgment. Or was it just performance art? Was it a publicized tantrum so that they could energize their political base? A way to dramatize the opposition? I don't know which of these options is worse. But I do know this. The predicted catastrophe did not arrive. And here's the persuasion lesson, because we always seek to educate. Fear is one of the most powerful tools in politics. If you can convince someone they're in danger, you bypass their analytical mind, you trigger survival mode. As I've mentioned in a previous episode, emotion outruns evidence. Remember that phrase, emotion outruns evidence. Persuasion isn't about facts first. It's about emotional framing. And the words existential threat, that's the strongest frame you can deploy. But here's the counter. When the apocalypse fails to materialize, you calmly point to reality. Don't scream, don't retaliate, don't escalate. You simply say, look around, it didn't happen. And when predictions fail repeatedly, credibility goes up in a puff of smoke. Poof, gone, scorched. The real lesson here isn't about Rosie or Ellen specifically. It's about how easily hysteria spreads when influential people validate it. It's about how profitable panic can be. It's about how fear keeps people emotionally activated. Calm citizens are harder to mobilize. Calm citizens ask questions. Calm citizens compare predictions to outcomes. So the next time some Hollywood celebrity tells you the sky's falling, especially from the balcony of their multi-million-dollar mansion, ask, what incentive do they have to keep people afraid? Who is profiting from spreading fear? Rosie says she came back to test the waters. But when the water is perfectly calm, you don't need to test it. And that's the reality. All right, that's enough for today. We'll continue tomorrow. And as always, be useful.